Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is the show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our expert then, Raja Venkatraman of Chart Advice, NS Fidai, technical analyst and mentor, and Dyaneshwar Padwal of KIFS Securities join me on the show. Many thanks to my guests for joining me. Before we begin the show with our analyst, let's bring in Yash Upadhyay, who has a chart on future retail. Good afternoon, Yash. What does the chart indicate?
Where very bullish momentum is seen in future retail, Darshan. We've seen today as well, the stock is up close to around 4.5% with volumes too being substantially higher, almost 3.1 times its 30-day average. And on the weekly chart as well as the daily chart, we are seeing a very strong chart structure forming. So I'll start first with the daily time frame, and we've seen that the stock has managed to break out from this range which I've highlighted with the help of this green rectangle. As you can see, it has managed to breach that mark, and for almost the entirety of the last 3 months it has been in this range, and now it has finally managed to move higher. We've seen that the last few trading sessions have been extremely positive, and in fact the stock has been gaining for the last 5 to 6 trading sessions consecutively. Additionally, on the weekly time frame, we are seeing a positive divergence on the RSI as well. So while the price hasn't quite moved and has been relatively stable in this range, the RSI has been steadily moving higher. So take a look at the RSI on the weekly chart, and we are seeing that while the price has been largely stable around the mark of closer to around 320 and 340 on the upside, the RSI has steadily moved up. So RSI too is giving a positive divergence, which is indicating that the momentum is slowly and steadily building up, and it's crossed above or is closer to around the mark of 50. The price action is very supportive. Like I mentioned earlier, the volumes are quite healthy as well. So like the trend that we are seeing across most of these retail names, be it DMart, Trent as well, future retail also is catching up, and we are seeing good momentum in the counter.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Yash. Raja, the future retail, what's your analysis?
Yeah, like Yash rightly pointed out, the dips which we have been seeing over the last 6 months began to consolidate since November, and the consolidation breakout which we have seen above 350 levels does augur well for the prices. And if you take a look at the momentum indicator, it's giving a fresh upthrust. So overall prospects suggest that it could move towards the 420 region. On crude basis, stop loss below the breakout zone around 345, and trade it for a nice potential up move.
Okay, Fidai, what's your sense on future retail?
Yeah, I agree with Yash and Raja also. One can buy this on dips up to 355, 357 and keep a tight stop loss below 350 on extreme short term. And if somebody is holding this, then they should hold, and people who would like to add should add around 355, 357. And on the upside, we see something like 390, 410 kind of in extreme short term.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Dyaneshwar, what's your sense?
Well, Darshan, if you look at the daily time frame chart, so we clearly observe that the stock is taking support of 324 from last 3 months, and it was trading in a consolidation zone between 324 to 355 range, and in today's trading session it has given a very good breakout. So any dips comes towards the 350, 355, so that could be a great buying opportunity. Keep a stop loss of 340 on a closing basis for an initial leg of up move towards the 400.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on the counter. Let's start with the first stock, and that is something that Raja has. He has a chart on Sun TV. Sun TV, no doubt, has been doing exceptionally well for the past few days. It's rallied almost 7 to 10% in the past few days. That's the move that's come out. But what's your view? Why should one buy this stock?
After the decline, if you see over the last 6 months to the end of 2019, the stock began well in 2020, and that was a very good sign. If you can see here, it began with a nice hammer formation, and steadily it has moved up, and on every pullback it has witnessed a nice buying opportunity here. You can see here that the breakout seen yesterday moved above this trend line resistance and also above the pitchfork area. Now we are witnessing some profit booking, and the prices are dipping down into the dip levels, which I would advocate to buy here. So it's a good buy at current levels. You can place a stop loss, a very tight stop loss at 485 for an upside towards 555.
Okay, so what's the ideal strategy? Buy now, buy at till what level would you buy?
The dip levels have actually come. If you can see here, this is the candle which was formed yesterday. So the mid of this candle also acts as a nice support. So you can take this as a buy opportunity here. If you take a look at the momentum is also building up to the upside. So overall, the price action as well as the momentum suggests that we could expect some upside in the coming days.
Okay, so it's a quick trade according to you?
Yeah, it's a 10 to 15 session trading.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Raja. NS, what's your sense on Sun TV?
Yeah, one may buy this stock and keep on adding on dips also. The stock is in good zone, like right now it is showing like, you can say inverted head and shoulder kind of breakout, but needs to cross 515 if it wants to see some momentum. Moment you see a crossover beyond 515, 518, then you can expect the stock to go at least 20% on the upside minimum.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. And Dyaneshwar, what's your sense?
I agree with NS. Recently, if you look at the overall chart structure, so previous swing high was placed near 510, 511. On yesterday's trading session, it has made a high of 513. And also, you can observe the today's trading session, it is also made a high of 514 near about. So 513, 540 would be a very crucial level. If stocks will correct to 480, so that would be a great buying opportunity. Or if anyone wants to take an aggressive entry, so bulls need to take out the 540 level.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Sun TV. NS Vidai has a chart on Tata Chemicals, one of the outperformers of the recent time. Both Tata Chemicals and Tata Global, both of them have done well, has rallied all the way from 550 all the way now up to almost 760. But what's your sense? What should one do now?
Well, if you look at this yellow line, it's like multiple tops on this line, exactly around 790, 780 area. So that's the area where the stock is facing lots of resistance. If you look at this pink line also, which is acting as a resistance right now. So one can go short on the rise if you can, up to 790, 795, and keep a tight stop loss above 805.
Okay.
Okay. Or on dips below 745, one can go short for a target of almost 690.
So you won't short anything at this level. It's 760 right now.
Yeah, right now you don't do anything. You wait for the stock to either break down or it goes up to the resistance zone in this area. So if it comes within this triangle area,
790.
Yeah, between 790 and 800 area, right? So that's where you go short. Keep a 1% stop loss of maybe 805 should be good enough. And if it breaks 745, then this is what opens up for us.
Okay, so but overall the trend seems to be on the negative side.
Overall the trend is positive. One should buy on dips rather. But right now what we see is a trade.
Okay, it's a short-term trade that you're looking.
And if you look at RSI also, RSI is highly, is showing negative divergence. While stock has made a higher high, look at this RSI, where it is. It is like, it is making a lower high. So that is what, is giving me confidence that the stock may give a little bit of dip.
Okay, thanks so much for that, NS. Dyaneshwar, what's your sense on Tata Chemicals? Would you be buyer or would you short?
I'm having a contradictory view because trend is quite strong if you look at the daily chart, time frame chart, and yes, no doubt, stock is taking many times resistance over the 780-85 range. So this is a pause for the stocks. If stocks may correct towards the 740, 730, so that would be a great buying opportunity. In recent terms, that there might be a possibility stock may head towards uncharted territory.
Okay, what's your sense, Raja, on Tata Chemicals?
Yeah, if you see over the last 2 weeks, the stock has been clearly indicating some hesitation to move higher. And formation of negative candlestick patterns at higher levels around the 760 to 770 zone clearly indicates that there is some suffocation and lack of bullish participation. So any move below the 750 zone could be a good selling opportunity. So it would definitely be on my selling list, and it's a good call on the short side.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in from Raja on Tata Chemicals. Let's go across to Dyaneshwar for a chart on MSTC. Let's pull up the counter. I don't think we've discussed this stock earlier on this thing, but nevertheless, what is your recommendation on the counter?
Yeah, well, if you look at the overall chart structure, so it is moving in a clear uptrend, and after the impulsive momentum, stock was unfolded into the corrective pattern for a very long time. And after this corrective moves, recently we have seen that the stock is managed to give the breakout of falling wedge channel. So stock was unfolded into the falling wedge channel, and it has given a breakout with the good volume. So you can see over here, and if you look at the delivery percentage, delivery is also quite good in this case. So there might be a possibility after giving the breakout, stock may consolidate in this zone. So if the stocks comes towards the current market price as well as 140, 135 would be a great buying opportunity. Keep a a stop loss of previous swing low that is placed near 120.
Okay.
It is on closing basis. You might be see a stock may headed towards the 185. That is a new high.
Okay, and will this be a swift move? You've seen that it's moved swiftly from 120 to 140. Will the move?
If you look at the waves nature, so here we have seen that the very harsh reaction into the chart. So waves cannot replicate the another wave. So here you will see the very slow and steady momentum.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Dyaneshwar. Fidai, what's your sense on MSTC?
Absolutely agree. Like one would see momentum if stock crosses beyond 158, 160, and the stock can go to 190 or even beyond 200. On the dips, one should buy up to 130, between 130 and 135, and keep a tight stop loss below maybe 127. And one can see a good momentum here. The stock has very good, developed good kind of volumes and moves with very strong momentum. Overall, it's like a flat pattern, so should be bought.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. What's your sense, Raja?
Yeah, if you take a look at the daily charts, around 150 zone, the stock is facing continuous resistance, and there have been though volumes are emerging, momentum is in play, there are shadows emerging at those levels. So unless I get a closing above 150, I would not be a buyer in MSTC.
Okay, not a buyer above, only a buyer above 150. Now let's move across to the second row. We have a chart by Raja. He has a chart on Metropolis Healthcare. Came out with very strong set of numbers, probably near all-time highs. But what's your sense? Why should one buy this counter?
Yeah, so if you take a look at the daily charts, you will see that the stock has been given a good pullback, and I've used the Ichimoku setup here, which is showing that a pullback into the Ichimoku cloud always gives a nice up move. So you can see here there was a nice up move towards the late 2019, then there was a dip again, and then once again there has been a good move here. So what has happened is after this move ahead of the results, the prices began to consolidate here, and then on the result day you saw a nice dip. So the dip into the long-term moving average also witnessed a nice buying interest here, and the stock has given a nice rise yesterday. So overall setup indicates that it could be a good buy possibility, and if you take a look at the current move which is happening, it is also giving a good dip into the buying zone around 1650 to 1660. That's also a good opportunity to initiate a long.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in.
There's also a weekly chart.
Okay. Do we have the weekly chart? Yes.
Yeah. So if you take a look at the weekly chart, after the breakout which emerged in Jan, the prices are consolidating and they are taking support at the median line. I've used this pitchfork tool. You can see here the support is taken at the median line. Because of continuous buying at the median line, there is a strong possibility that the stock could go up.
Okay, so it's at 1660 right now.
Yes.
It's already rallied so much. What's the ideal trade that you would recommend?
Yeah, the dip is perfect. You could buy now, place a stop loss at 1605 for an upside towards 1815.
1815, and how soon can that come in?
Yeah, within the next 20 to 25 trading sessions.
Okay, so a month trade in which 1800 probably can come in on the counter. Thanks so much for that, Raja. Fidai, what's your sense on Metropolis?
Well, overall the stock is very bullish, has shown very good momentum. Right now it is making a flat pattern. So one may buy this stock on dips up to 1580 and 1540 if it comes in that zone, and keep a tight stop loss below 1520-ish. And on the upside, if it crosses 1750 rather, then you can see the stock can do even if you look at the pole size, then we may see almost like a 400 point kind of run up, and that could give you almost like a target of 2100 on the upside.
Okay, 2100. So that's a long-term positional call that's coming in. Dyaneshwar, would you also be a buyer on this counter?
Yes, of course, Darshan, because recently we have seen that the stock is moving in a clear trend, and recently if you look at the overall chart structure, so it is moving in a very tight range of 1730 on a higher side and 1580, 1600 on a lower side, and probably we have seen that the consolidation zone or correction is getting matured. So traders need to apply the mean reversion strategy over here, because stock is heading towards the 1600. So any dips comes towards the 1600, 1580, so that could be a great buying opportunity.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. Let's take a look at the chart of Nippon India Asset Management. Remember, it was the earlier Arnam or Reliance Nippon AMC, and it's done extremely well, from levels of sub 150 when it was with Reliance, and now it's changed promoters, it's up 400. But still, you think it should be bought?
Yeah, actually it has given a breakout. If you look at the whole setup, it's a sort of like cup and handle. Like if you look at this whole thing, it looks like, the cup has been formed, and then there was consolidation in this zone, and the handle has been formed. And if you look at this whole one, I usually call this as, I would like to call it as a fractal. Like if you look at this, there was a breakdown from the pattern. Same thing happened here. And then the stock moved up very sharply. And something very similar fractal is happening here. And if you look at the volumes, so if you can have volumes on this chart.
No, I don't think we can.
Yeah, so the volumes are also persistently very high. And the stock is somehow taking very good support on 50 demo. Not exactly on 50, but near abouts. So this is where, like, if you look at this breakdown at below 50 demo and then crossover, same way it has actually done very similar kind of move. And I expect the price to go almost up to 500, 515. Extreme short term, maybe 1 to 3 months kind of thing. Every dip should be bought. You can buy at this level also, and you can add up to 375.
Okay.
And you can see a good momentum till it holds above maybe 390-ish. You will see the momentum continuing in the stock.
Okay, and you see a fast movement that comes.
Yeah, very
so
fast
500 is your first target. Do you see
500, 515 is my first target.
What's your second target? How high can this counter go? Because there seems to be a lot of interest in this counter.
Yeah, actually, if you look at this whole structure, the cup structure, if you calculate that, then it can go up to 700 plus also.
Okay, thanks so much for that. Raja, would you be a buyer in Nippon Asset Management?
Yeah, definitely. The nice rounding pattern breakout on the daily chart suggests that it could head towards the first target, which NSS suggested towards 500. And the way the momentum and the new play which is emerging in this counter, one should definitely consider it as a buying possibility.
Okay, that's the view. And Dyaneshwar, would you be a buyer?
Yes, of course, Darshan, because stock is moving in an uptrend, and every time the stock is making a new high, if you look at the volume chart, so volume is also increasing, so it is confirming, volume is giving the confirmation that trend is very strong. And recently we have seen that the horizontal consolidation pattern has been broken out above the 400 marks, and it is sustaining above that, so it would be a great buying opportunity. Keep a stop loss of 380 on closing basis for an initial leg of up move towards the 450, 460.
Okay, so consensus bullish call that's coming in, and the last chart, at least from my guest before Yash comes in again, is Dyaneshwar's chart on JSW Steel. A couple of metal stocks have done extremely well given the fact that prices have moved up. JSW Steel also has managed to move up on that front, even though the numbers were disappointing. But yes, what's your logic?
Question, if you look at the overall chart structure, so if JSW Steel is almost from the 1.5 years, it is moving into the consolidation zone, and after the consolidation, we have keenly observed on the daily chart the head and shoulder pattern is given a breakout, as well as if you draw the horizontal trend line, so you will also get a cup and handle pattern as well. So both the pattern has giving a good breakout, and on yesterday's trading session we have seen that the good volume with the good volume stock has given a breakout, and it is sustaining above the 285 mark. So current market price as well as dips towards the 280 could be find as a buying opportunity where the neckline is has been placed. So 280 would be a great buying opportunity. Keep a stop loss of 260 on a closing basis for an initial leg of up move towards the 350. That would be an 61.8% retracement of the previous fall.
So when should one buy at this level?
One should adopt the strategy of accumulation, because stock has already given a too much of rally near about 4.5%. So any dips comes towards 280, 285. So that could be a great buying opportunity.
Okay, thanks so much for that, Dyaneshwar. Raja, what's your sense on JSW Steel?
Yes, the stock has given a very nice breakout above the 280 zone, and from there on the stock has moved quite steadily higher. So yes, considering the way it has rallied strongly, one could use a pullback towards these zones, the breakout zone, as a buying opportunity. Place a stop loss at 270 because the upside is seen clearly towards 325.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. And what's your sense on this, Viday?
Well, I agree with both of my friends here. And one should buy this stock on dips up to 285 and between 285 275. Keep a tight stop loss below 270. On the upside, minimum target could be 314, 315. And needs to cross that because that is a very strong mean reversion area, very strong resistance zone in that area. So one can look out for the stock crossing beyond that. If it does that, then you can see much higher levels also.
Okay. That's the view that's coming in on the counter, and Yash is back with his second chart, and this time it's on Quest Corp. What's your sense on the counter, Yash? What is it indicating?
Good afternoon, Darshan. So there is continued weakness in Quest Corp, and for a fourth consecutive trading session, we've seen that the stock is coming off, and this is again on the back of the trender indicator. We did touch base on Quest Corp in the morning show as well, and we showed how the directional movement of the stock is on the downward, with the underlying strength also being very strong, and the trender indicator too is suggesting that should it manage to close below these crucial levels, we could see a fresh move on the downside. So take a look at how the trender indicator is, and this is on the daily time frame, where we're seeing that the stock is currently at about 473. The trender line is fairly above that mark. It's at 477. So should it manage to close even at current levels or below the mark of 477, we would see that the trender would change its color from green to red. Now, historically, last two times this has failed to materialize, and when these two times the trender flipped to red, we eventually saw the stock move up. But look at the 1 year time frame, and the other two times when the trender gave a negative crossover, the stock gave a significant rally on the downside. So clearly there is pressure at the higher levels. For 4 consecutive sessions, we are seeing weakness come in. Both the trender as well as the ADX indicator are suggesting that there is weakness. So the momentum is on the downside, and the trender suggests that we could see far lower levels in the counter from here on.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in on Quest Corp. Dyaneshwar, what do you make of the chart?
Yes, well, listen, if you look at the overall chart structure, so stock is moving in a lower top, lower bottom formation, and recently we have seen that the intermediate trend line has been broken down. So one can go short by keeping a stop loss of 620, because that is a zone. If bulls manage to take out that level, so we probably may see the upward rally. So keep that tight stop loss.
Okay, what's your sense, Vidai?
Well, I would only look at going short in this counter if it breaks below 560. If it doesn't, then one can hold this stock, and maybe you can see a bounce up to maybe 600, 615 kind of, means zone. And that's where, if you would like to go short, that would be a low risk zone to go short by keeping a stop loss above 625. On the downside, if it breaks 560, then you can expect it to go all the way up to 525.
Okay, and what's your sense, Raja?
The stock has an important threshold level around 620, and on higher time frame charts, we have seen formation of uncertainty at those zones. So holders of the stock should actually exit, because the stock is indicating potential downside.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. We still have time. We'll just take the view of the indices with our guest. Dyaneshwar, what have you told your clients to do on the Nifty or the Bank Nifty? Do you have a strategy there?
See, well, listen, if you look at the lower time frame as well as the higher time frame chart, so we probably seeing the very strong resistance placed near about 12,400, 12,500 mark. And if you look at the higher time frame mainly on monthly, so Nifty is escalating in a moving in an escalating channel, where the overhead resistance is also facing at 12,400. Till the bulls is not crossing the 12,400 and close above the 12,400 on weekly basis, so we'll see the sideways momentum. On the downside, 11,800 would be a great support.
Okay, what's your sense, Vidai, on the indices?
Well, I would say, like, till it holds about 12,080 on cash, one can stay long and don't do anything much, just trail your profits, and on the upside you can see it go all the way up to 12,400, 12,600 also. So wait for the stock to like Nifty to give a breakdown, but if it doesn't, then just run with your profits.
Okay, and Raja, what's your sense?
Yeah, compared to Nifty and Bank Nifty witnessed a sharp sell-off, and the rise which we have seen last week clearly indicates that there is a new change in the trend emerging in Bank Nifty. So what I believe that Bank Nifty could take the lead now, and Bank Nifty has got potential to move all the way till 33,000. So that could be a good bet to watch out for compared to Nifty.
Okay, that's the view that's coming in. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Let me thank my guests, Dyaneshwar, Vidai, and Raja. Thank you so much for coming in today. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.